On to our last lesson, inverse trigonometric functions. In this lesson, we take the inverse trigonometric functions. We've used them before in previous lessons. So let's say an inverse sine function is sine -1. It's shift sign on the calculator, or it's arc sine. They both mean the same thing. You can either say arc sine or sine -1 or inverse. So in the inverse, the domain and range are switched. Although the domain in the normal sine x, for example, is all real numbers, here it's not. So when we switch these, this technically should be all real numbers, but it's not, because the domain is restricted to -1 to 1. Let's say hypothetically the domain was infinite and this is not needed for your test, then this would also be this. But you should know that the range in the arc sine is this one here and not this one. Okay, let's say they give you a question and they ask you what's the cosine inverse of 2. This would, if you do it on a calculator, I'll bring the calculator in. Yeah. So shift cosine of 2. It would give you matter, because in the cosine, if you look at the domain, 2 is outside the domain. So this is equal to undefined, and if they ask you for the reason, it's outside domain. The inverse function is used to find the angle instead of the side. So here, if we want to find the angle, we would use the inverse function that relates the opposite of that angle to the hypotenuse of that angle, which is the sine. So sine inverse would be 7, would be opposite over hypotenuse, which would give us the angle. So sine inverse 7 over 14, which gives us 30 degrees. This is the first type of question that can come on this lesson. They would give you the value here, and they'd ask you for the angle in degree or radian. Here it's asked in degree, and they restricted the degree to angle or quadrant 3. So to get the angle, you need to first get the reference angle. So first we get the angle of this. So sine inverse -4 over 5. Then you get your calculator. Shift sine -4 over 5 equal -53.1. So -53.13. So this is an angle, but this angle is not in our range here. So we need to find the angle that's in our range. So now we get the reference angle. So the reference angle, to get it, you do shift tan -53.13 equal, and you take the positive value. So the reference angle will be 53.13. So, and since it's in quadrant 3, the angle we need the reference angle in quadrant 3 formula, which is reference angle equal to the angle minus 180, or the angle minus pi in radian. So it would be 53.13 plus, I'll add 180 to the other side, so plus 180 equal theta. Then we just add it. So 80 plus 53.13, 233.13. So 233.13. That's our answer. So in this one, it's the only difference is we have our angle in radian. So first of all, we get this angle, cosine inverse of negative 5 over 8. Then we got the calculator. So shift cosine negative 5 over 8, 128.68. Since this is in radian, we need to convert our calculator to radian. So it's 2.245. 2.245. And now we get the reference angle. Shift tan 2.245, and you take the positive value of this. 0.896. That's our reference angle. So since our range is in quadrant 3, we again use the formula for quadrant 3. Here's reference angle equal to the angle minus theta. 0.896. I'll add pi to the other side, plus pi equal theta. Theta will equal to pi plus 0.896, 4.0375. 4.0375. For the next type of question, they're asking you to convert the expression into an algebraic one. So that means that there's no cosine or sine or any of the trigonometric functions. So what you'd want to do is you'd take this whole thing, you'd assign it to an angle u, then you draw a triangle. You can be either here or here, it doesn't really matter. So u will be here for now. And then cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So hypotenuse x is here. Adjacent, I'll move the triangle a bit to the right. Radical, this is the opposite. Radical x squared minus 1. Now to get the third side, we use the Pythagorean theorem since it's a right triangle. X squared is equal to x squared minus 1 plus b squared. I squared this one and I squared this one, so the radical goes away. So minus x squared plus 1 to the other side. So 1 is equal to b squared. B is equal to 1. This side is 1. So now it's basically cotan of u, and cotan is adjacent over opposite. So I'll move it here. So cotan of angle u, so it would equal to adjacent over opposite, radical x squared minus 1 over 1, which is equal to radical x squared.